Hello and welcome to Creative Conversations. This is a series put on by Summer of the Arts where we take a look at influential people that we have here in Iowa City. Today I have Drew Morton, who is a bassist and a graphic designer, and we're going to learn all things Drew. So Drew, you and I, we both play bass, so this is a very special interview for me. But I want to go all the way back because I know you didn't start on bass, right?
Right, yeah. I guess initially started on piano. My mom was a piano teacher, and so, started probably around third or fourth grade. But then when it came time to choose an instrument, I chose I wanted to play trumpet because I wanted to play in jazz band. And my dad was my band director, and he said, "No, you're going to play French horn." So I played French horn, and he said, "I have a bass at home. You can play bass and jazz band," and it worked out.
Did you start on electric or upright?
Electric. I didn't play upright until my senior year of high school. But otherwise, yeah, I had kind of taught myself electric, played in the middle school jazz band. It was a long, maybe not the most efficient way to learn bass, but, just kind of played in middle school jazz band and then also played in a group outside of school, which was probably the best thing that I could have done to, throw myself in there and learn how to do it and learn how to recover from biffs and falls.
Yeah, I'm telling my students all the time, like, the best way to learn is just get out there and do it and make mistakes. Did you ever find it nerve-wracking or uncomfortable to have two musical parents in the house while you were learning and discovering that you loved music as well?
I don't know if nerve-wracking isn't the right word, but we had to practice at least 30 minutes a day, and back then, that was an eternity. Like half an hour was a huge ask. But it really did kind of instill some good habits way back then. I played both French horn and bass up into college. I actually went to college on a French horn scholarship, probably because there were no jazz bass scholarships. And so I played French horn in college through my sophomore year, I believe, but then focused solely on bass after that, and film and graphic design, but that's a whole other thing.
Well, let's get into that. How did graphic design come into your life? Did someone show it to you, or did you see something that you saw that you thought that you could make? Or
I'm not sure exactly where it began. I know that I must have always had some sort of pull to it. I know for many Christmases I would make custom CDs for family members, just like go on the computer, burn a CD, and then I would design the artwork on the computer and print it out and put it in there, and it was horrid. But that was me way back then, just trying to figure out how to do it. And actually, I didn't think to myself I could go to school to be a graphic designer. I was more interested in, dinking around with the video camera and making short videos. So I went to college for film studies and then music as well. And then it was like my senior year that I realized, wait a minute, graphic design is something I'm really interested in. And I do a lot of it already, but I don't want to start another degree my senior year of college. So I just focused on graduating and then doing as much graphic design stuff as I could, which really pushed me into doing a ton of freelance stuff. And so I was working, part-time job while also doing freelance stuff, and I guess it was enough to survive. Here I am. So
in the decade or so that I've known you, I think I've seen your skill level go up, and to me, for the graphic design and being on the computer stuff, I am not very good at that. but I do see some parallels from music and improvising, you know, just getting it and doing it and figuring out and making mistakes and stuff like that. Did your process, did it start on the computer, or was it like drawing and anything like that?
Yeah, there were a lot of doodles growing up. So yeah, it definitely started on paper and just drawing cartoons and comic strips and even just like abstract drawing, just whatever comes to mind. And along with that, like, discipline aspect, I think it was 2012 I saw someone else who had done this project where they just started and finished a piece of digital art every day. They had been doing it for like 4 years at that point, and I really liked what they were making, so I said, I want to do that myself. I happened to also be unemployed at the time, and I was only doing freelance stuff, so I had lots of time. And I found that doing that not only helped me feel really accomplished, like I felt, if that was the only thing I did that day, I still felt good about progressing in some way. Even if what I came up with was just trash, I still felt like I did it, posted it on the blog for like some sort of accountability. I ended up doing that for 8 years, and it's really been interesting. I still go back and like look at the trajectory of, or the evolution of all of those pieces of art. It was just a really interesting process to watch, a terrifying process to be a part of. You know, you get in there every day and you're starting with a blank screen and you just make anything.
Do it.
And there was plenty of garbage, but there were lots of things that I really connected with that then would push me to, you know, another project, which then would push me somewhere else. It was just a really fun thing to follow. And then it ended up just being like too much, you know, start a family and have a full-time job and still trying to play music and write. So I decided that the everydays, you know, did them for 8 years. I wasn't going to stop creating. I was just going to not have this assignment anymore to make something every day. And then I freed up a lot of time to be able to work on longer term projects, to be able to work on things for more than 2 hours a day or something. So
that's amazing. I actually, so I'm just being reminded of the everydays. And I think it's wonderful that you did that, because our mutual friend, Dan Padley, kind of started doing something,
right. Yeah.
inspiration from that. So.
Yeah, I loved listening to those, and I inspired someone else to write a joke a day.
Oh, Joel, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, yeah.
I loved reading those. But it, you know, it's like practicing a musical instrument. I mean, if you want to get better, do it every day or close to, you know. Even when you don't really want to, it's good to just get out the instrument and play. So
You should start something. Maybe you should, I don't know. All right, tell us where you grew up again.
I grew up mostly in Coal Valley, Illinois, in the Quad Cities. Went to Moline High School, and then went to University of Iowa for my undergrad.
And then, so you came to Iowa City for your undergrad. What made you stay here?
Initially, my brother also came here, so we were living together. And then I think by the time I graduated, he was still here. But also, you know, so family kept me here, but also I met a lot of the musicians that I still play with today. I met here, and for the longest time in college, I thought, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to move to a big city, and I'm going to like meet all these amazing musicians. While I could have done that, I realized that then I wasn't going to meet the same type of musicians somewhere else, because the people I play with, I wouldn't necessarily have met at a jazz jam or a funk jam, like a late night thing. So then it made got thinking about, I don't have to move. And then there's a whole thing about, with the internet now and this global interconnectivity, that you don't have to move somewhere with a large population to be able to connect with a bunch of people. So I don't know if that answers the question.
No, it does. No, it does. To me, you found some people that became your friends, which was more than the music.
Right. Yeah.
And to me, that's really special, because I'm kind of in the same boat, playing music that I love with my best friends,
Yeah.
and someone who you can call and they're like, totally on board right away. So absolutely. For like the newcomers, the young people, or even some slightly older people who are moving to Iowa City for the first time, what would you, where would you point them first? I know it's the Iowa City's changed since you were here first, but where would you point them first?
The musicians?
Mm-hmm. We'll start with the musicians first, yeah.
Boy. I mean, there's plenty of live music in this town to be seen, large part due to you. And some of the arts. I mean, that's been like, hang around in Iowa City in the summer and you're gonna have plenty of opportunities to see live music, outdoor live music, which is my favorite. And it's not set up in such a way to where it's, I think that the festivals here, the audience can approach the musicians and you can talk with them and connect with them and let them know, like, hey, I really enjoyed your set, I really enjoyed your music. But I would just, tell musicians that are coming into the area, like, check out all the live music that's happening.
I totally get you, the accessibility of all the artists, not even musicians around here in Iowa City, since I got here 14 years ago or something like that, has always been welcoming, and partially because of you. Are we just going to compliment each other the whole time?
Basically.
Okay, so you've been here for over a decade, so you've seen how it's changed in that time. What do you see for the future of Iowa City? Good, bad?
It's gonna get dark. Only good things, I think the people that are here are committed to investing in the scene and the community. If there are any like tangents that are maybe not for the best of the community, I think there are enough people here to right that.
Tell me about, I don't know this story, Jack Lyon. I mean, the people in Jack Lyon, Justin LeDuc and Brian Lewis Smith, I know you'd been playing with them for forever in a few other groups. How did you three decide that you wanted to create Jack Lyon and the music that, is unmistakably you every time?
It spawned from a previous group with Matt Logan.
How about him?
That band was called Slip Silo.
Yeah.
And that was more like heavier rock stuff, but still with improvisatory elements and jam stuff. But then Matt, music therapist, moved to California, got a job. He's doing really well out there. And I think we still had some shows booked pretty far out. We didn't want to cancel them. And so Brian, Justin, and I thought, well, let's play them as a trio and figure it out. We had time to, adjust any tunes that needed to be tweaked to make it work. We played those shows and decided we were going to keep booking shows. But we figured we'd change the name since we could immediately kind of feel it was going a different direction without a guitarist. I don't even know what year that was, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Another thing, many things, but one of the things I love about Jack Lion is that you guys are a band, like an actual band, because you're kind of placed in the jazz scene or whatever, but there aren't too many jazz ensembles around here that are only doing original music, and I think that's like incredibly special of you guys. Tell me first, who is bringing the ideas, or is it a group effort, or is it mostly one person?
Yeah, it kind of varies from tune to tune. Sometimes Brian will just bring in a tune that's like ready to go. Sometimes I'll bring in a tune that's ready to go. Sometimes it's ideas and we need to workshop something. But we'll just bring it to a rehearsal, we'll play through it, figure out what's working, what's not working, and take it from there. It's really just being open and flexible to how the tune forms. Because usually everyone has a say in what they're, everyone usually has a say in what they're playing in those tunes. But that has made it hard when you mention that we've got a little bit rooted in jazz, a little bit in not. It sometimes makes it hard to figure out where we play, because we can't quite play like a straight jazz venue, because I think it wouldn't quite fit their audience that they would normally bring in. But at the same time, maybe we would be, connected enough to where people would enjoy it. I don't know. But
do you guys write down things, or do you just come up with an idea to a rehearsal? Or I know Brian does some stuff on the computer. I say on the computer, but like recording something or showing you an idea through audio, or
I think it's all by ear.
Cool.
There have been times when Brian has like printed out a bass line that's been just like a little intense, and I feel like it'd be easier for me to read it. But the problem with that is if I have music, I have to read it, and it takes me so long to get away from that piece of paper. So I really try to just learn it by ear, which is a good exercise in itself.
Absolutely. When you guys play live, how do you prepare? This music, it's very improvisatory. Do you have a form for everything, or do you leave some of that up for the gig? How does that? Maybe you go back and forth a lot, but go ahead and explain that process.
There is a little bit of back and forth, because some tunes they play the same way every time, with little windows of a designated improv section, but it's like, I think more often than not, it's like a designated section for solos, and it's not open. But sometimes, we are able to open it up, and even at our last show, we try to kind of segue our songs just to focus less on talking about the music and more on just playing it and having people listen. And, we got the set list, and we're playing through. We finished up one song, and I just, on a whim, decided I'm going to keep playing right now as like this little interlude thing. We didn't discuss it at all, and so it was really cool, because I caught Brian and Justin off guard. They were all of a sudden like, okay, well, what are you doing? Where are we going? But then pretty soon, like, Brian jumped in playing something, and Justin was adding colors, and in those moments, I think it's really cool when, I knew that Brian and Justin were caught off guard and they were completely on board, but the audience, like, I think in those moments, the audience is like so drawn in to where you can like hear a pin drop in the silence between notes, and it's just I feel like those moments are really beautiful.
That's awesome. I've seen several Jack Lion shows, and I've noticed that you have a set sometime. When I catch you, whatever year you're in or whatever, you have a set that you go through, and I don't like recognize that everything is the same. So it's interesting to hear that and it's wonderful that you have friends that are just totally cool with
Winging it.
winging it and just going off. And I think that's what that the jazz part of your music, that kind of brings it to that side, is the players being willing to just go for it.
Because when you're playing with a laptop, a lot of times that takes away that flexibility. So sometimes it's hard to figure out how we can maintain flexibility while having these tracks. And so Brian has some other toys that he can play with to like loop certain sections on the fly. That's always been a really fun thing to mess around with. Just to take this super rigid on the grid sound and then bring it over to this little effects box that will then turn it into a loop, which is also something that can we've done that before and it backfires completely. And so we have to figure out how we're going to get out of it. So that group has been really fun.
That's so fun to hear this, because your albums, like the recorded stuff, is just so clean and so perfect. So it's really fun to hear that maybe some of these ideas that we hear on the album were found in live performances.
Definitely, yeah. I think in every live performance, there's always some nugget that one of us has kind of bookmarked as that was cool, I want to do that again, or try to do it again. And then that's just the beginning of this evolutionary process of where these songs go. And it's just a really fun thing to witness.
How do you prepare for something like that? I mean, maybe at the beginning you didn't quite know that this group is going to be that much improvisatory, but it is now. So how do you prepare to keep it fresh?
I often have a hard time figuring that out myself. We have a mix of performance recordings and rehearsal recordings that we can rehearse the actual tunes, but then any time that it's opened up for improvising or jamming, then that's just you buckle up and try to make it work, which is the exciting and terrifying part of playing live music.
All right, so live music is terrifying.
That's the end of it.
The end. No. Why? So live music is terrifying. Why is it important? Let's start with musicians. Why do you think it's important for us?
I mean, for me, it's really fulfilling, and not in I'm in the spotlight fame sort of way, because definitely not in the spotlight. But I find that if there's a window of time when I don't play my bass, I found this out during the pandemic. I wasn't initially getting my bass out to practice, and I was just getting grumpy, not feeling great about myself. And so either writing music on the computer or playing on a synth or playing bass, that's something that my soul needs, whether it's playing with people or just practicing at home or messing around. It's just something that I have to do. And I think it's probably that way for a lot of musicians, maybe for yourself too. You just aren't the same person if you don't have access to that.
Gotta get it out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch it up. A non-musician. We meet a lot of people that love music, so it might be a simple answer for them, but why do you think live music especially is important for non-musicians?
Live music specifically, I think, is important for non-musicians. An audience member at a live show, whether they realize it or not, they are a part of a very small population, the people in that room that are witnessing a truly unique moment. And maybe this is way deeper than anyone wants to think when they're at a live show, but in that venue, the people in that room are the only ones in the universe that are experiencing this with like the phone's going off, or someone's chair squeaking, or someone's making a drink in the background. You know, a lot of people get upset about those things, but it's like those are all contributing to that moment that's never going to be replicated again, along with the musicians on stage, the choices that they're making in their performance. Like, that's all unique to that moment. And I think it's a really special thing. It's a really unique thing that maybe a lot of people don't think about, but those are all once in a lifetime moments.
Let's talk about your personality for a second. As a bass player, it seems like all bass players are just super nice people. And yeah, maybe I'm tooting my own horn a little bit, but like, I really haven't met too many bass players that just aren't nice people.
Right.
So how do you think you're needed? You know, you're in this community and you're playing all this music with all these people. Like, how has your personality made it easier for you to fit into all these different musical endeavors?
Well, as a person, I think I am patient and easygoing. And maybe as a bass player, you're rarely, you know, up front leading a band. So I speak to you who leads a band.
But I make them, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is about our personalities that, you know, we gravitate towards being a bass player.
Well, I think you're so nice and so humble that you're willing to take the lead and you're willing to give it up, you know, just as fast or just as quick. And I think that's important for people like us, for instruments like us.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
So you've been, you know, through your time at the U of I, and then afterwards, you've been in music through the school and through Summer of the Arts, and just a whole bunch of different pockets of scenes here in Iowa City. Well, first let's start. Like, what is your favorite venue? Not talking bad about the other ones or at all, but where's your favorite place to play, Dead or Alive?
Dead or Alive, that's important. Favorite place in Iowa City? I have a lot of fond memories of playing at the Sanctuary.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. I remember seeing a lot of amazing groups there in college, and then feeling like, whoa, now I get to play here where these other monsters have played. And I had always took those shows so seriously and I had loved playing there. I had a lot of great moments in there. So I will miss the Sanctuary.
Can you, it doesn't have to be the Sanctuary, but can you remember your favorite Iowa City performance?
I think most favorite and maybe most memorable was the first time I played on the main stage at Jazz Fest, because I had been going to that festival since high school. Played on the youth stage, and then played on the college stage, and then played on the local stage. And I always said I wanted to play on the main stage, and I played there with Copland No. And that was just one of those moments where, you know, I had remembered the moment when I said I'm going to play on that stage, and then all of a sudden I'm in that moment on that stage. That was cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How about, well, I'll ask you anyway. Favorite Iowa City festival?
Jazz Fest.
All right, boring answer. But why? Tell me why. Everything good that you love about the Iowa City Jazz Festival that someone who has never been here before.
Well, we've already established that I really enjoy outdoor live music. It's free. Like, you just walk in and you're in it. It's everywhere. And there are a lot of great groups that come through. Summer of the Arts does a great job of booking a lot of great acts. I've seen just a lot of great musicians over the years that I had not really been aware of before, and some that I had. But it's just always been a special time of year over the summer to go to Jazz Fest.
Mm-hmm. I've been asking some other musicians this too. You know, we spend a lot of time getting the music ready and making sure our instruments are tip-top shape or whatever, knowing what we're going to be playing. But without the sound engineers helping at these gigs, we could not sound as good as we would want. So I want you to tell me your favorite sound person of Iowa City.
Might have to do a ranking. Alex Body has always been a solid foundation for us. And it helps that you play with these people a lot, so then they know, like, this is what's going to happen. Crystal, I don't know her last
Sherman.
Okay, Crystal Sherman. She's taken care of us at Gabe's the most, I think. And then more of a recent acquaintance, Justin Comer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's taken care of us 2 or 3 times now, and it's just been solid. And which, you know, that it doesn't make or break a performance, but that it enhances a performance. Absolutely. Like if everything feels good on stage, you can kind of forget that you are performing on stage, which I think happens to me a lot, where if everything, you know, feels great, I kind of forget that I'm performing, and I'm just like in my own little bubble, I guess, with other people that I'm playing with, and I've just like shut everything else out. And this sound engineers definitely help make that happen.
We'll send them a postcard. All right, so we've only talked about good things mostly about Iowa City, so you don't have to say anything bad, but if there was anything that could make Iowa City art music better, so we can work towards that in the future, how do you think we should go about that, or what do you think that thing would be?
I think it seems simple, and a lot of people overlook it, and a lot of people don't think about it, but the money that goes into the festivals doesn't come from nothing. People have to contribute. And I think if these festivals had, like, it doesn't have to be unlimited budget, but even more budget than they have now, I think they would have a lot more liberties to do so many great things. They're so good at what they do with the small budget that they have. Like, imagine what they could do if you gave them twice that amount of money. Like, wow. That'd be amazing.
Agreed.
So, wherever that money can come from, let's get it.
All right, you heard him. How about, so Jackline is probably your main band, you would say, right?
Yeah.
What, is there any other bands that you want to talk about, that you want people to know about, that you're being busy with?
So over here, I play with Jackline and Steve Grismore Trio. Justin's also in that group, and that's a lot of fun to just play electric bass without as many effects and just kind of work up my chops a little bit.
Almost acoustic, you know.
Almost,
that's
yeah.
what I call it when I don't use any effects pedals.
I mean, yeah, it's close. There's, you know, random jazz groups that I'll fill in with over here. I play in the Quad Cities with Freddie Allen, and he's a piano player, and Josh Duffy's a drummer. And then I play with Mike Conrad's Iowa Jazz Composers Orchestra, and that's always that kicks my butt a bit, but it's good. It's good to have groups that push you, push you outside your comfort zone, make you work a little bit. I think that's it. Oh well, okay. We haven't been playing recently, but we've got some stuff coming up. Christopher's Very Happy Band.
I'm excited to hear that.
I think we're looking to get an Opus thing.
Cool.
when that starts up again.
That's beautiful. I think it's fantastic that you're involved in so many different original type of music. The Iowa Jazz Composers, Christopher's Very Happy Band, Jack Lyon, all creating original music, which is just astounding. And I think you're a great person to have in this city, and I hope you keep creating music. Will you?
Definitely.
Okay.
I would like to find more time to create music.
You and me both. All right. Well, that concludes our creative conversation. This is Drew Morton, and I'm Blake Shaw.